Hello, everyone. Cori Westbrook here with Jay, guitar player from Vexed. He is joining us for a little chat today, leading up to Pulse of the Maggots. We are super excited to have him here. We're super excited to have Vexed on Pulse Fest this week. And so first, I just want to say thank you for joining me today. And how are you doing?
No problem. I'm good. I'm stressed, and I'm tired. Apart from that, yeah, I'm fine.
Well, if you're not stressed and you're not tired, that means you're not doing anything, right?
Exactly. You're not being productive enough if you're not constantly tired.
Exactly. At least that's what I'm going to tell myself when I, drink my 18th cup of coffee, right?
I sleep at night, so yeah.
Yeah. All right. So you guys have had a pretty amazing year. You put out your album, you've played some bigger shows, but one thing that I know a lot of people are probably looking forward to is your upcoming tour with In Flames. Like, how do you feel about that coming up?
Still trying to process it, really, because you consider the fact it's been 2 years and 2 months since we last toured. So we've completely forgotten just what it's like and what we need to do. And obviously it's one thing playing. We managed to do Bloodstock Festival since, COVID and shit kicked off. It's one thing playing just one show, it's another thing playing like 9 in a row. So it's going to be intense, but I'm excited to rekindle my hatred for touring.
That's such a great way to put it. But other than rekindling your hatred for touring, what are you most looking forward to about getting back on the road and playing a series of live shows rather than just, like you said, one date?
It's more the fact that, you got one date alone, you play the set, and that's it. And on tour, you got like a shitload ahead of you. That's why the first show is always the most fun, because you think, okay, great, we've got like a shitload more ahead of us. Until like the 5th show, and we're like, yeah, can we go home now? But no, we just love that's what's been hardest about the whole Corona shit, just not being able to tour, because we're always I think that's all of us when I say we're happiest on tour as well.
Happy in the misery, right?
Bittersweet.
And since you mentioned Bloodstock, before Bloodstock, you guys had done a few interviews around the album where it was expressed that you guys were struggling with imposter syndrome and things didn't quite feel real. Was playing Bloodstock and then obviously organizing this tour, has it made it feel more real for you guys and kind of amped things up for you?
I think imposter syndrome is still pretty strong. If in playing and all of that sort of just solidified a bit more. But more the fact like trying to process it, really. It still all hasn't sunk in. Even signing to Napalm Records like 2 years ago now, still not sunk in. Still feels like we done it yesterday.
No, yeah. I mean, everything kind of blurs together, doesn't it, anymore? But looking back on 2022 or 2021, oh my gosh, I'm getting my years wrong. See, everything is blurring together. But looking back on 2021, the release of the album, playing Bloodstock, all of that, what was the biggest highlight for you guys as a band from 2021?
The day that the album dropped, mainly. Because obviously a stupid amount of work went into it as it is. Like, we were writing it for literally, there are songs in the album that spread 2 years apart. There's literally a track that we wrote, and then the last track in the album was written 2 years after that. So it's like a massive build up, and then we had like 8 months or something stupid of postponing the release date, which sort of kicked us when we were down. So it was just like this, there's like a stupid amount of release behind it, because we were anticipating the launch for so long. We spent so long getting it ready. So when it finally, like, the day came that we can actually show people, because I was not to just, say to everyone, like, oh, do you want me to send you a link to the album? Do you want to check it out? Because I just like people to hear it. That was so nice for me to be able to share the album with people without getting a bollocking from the rest of the band.
Yeah. I mean, I've talked to a couple of people who've had to postpone their album releases and just stretch things out for various reasons. And they all express this urge to just like leak the album just to get it out. Did you ever kind of have that moment where you're like, I just want to put it out there?
100%. 100%, yeah. To the point I was weighing up, like, right, what's the worst that can happen if I leak this album right now? Yeah, the others, they don't know that, so.
Yeah, obviously you don't want to do that, but the urge is strong.
Yeah, I'm really impatient as well. So every track we wrote for the album, in my mind, I was like, can we just release this tomorrow? Can we just release 12 singles, like, as soon as we do it?
Oh, well, that would have been an interesting release strategy.
Would
But since you've put out the album, you guys have received, a lot of response. A lot of people are really engaged with the band. Has it ever felt really just surreal how people are responding to the album and that it's sustained? Because your album came out, like almost 9 months ago now, and it's still sustained. People still love talking to you about it. Does that feel surreal, or is it amping you up even more?
It's still, it goes back to like imposter syndrome. And it makes me think back to, I've known Megan Willem, our vocalist and drummer, for years and years, and we used to play together in another little band, which I will not name. And the idea back then of people from like Japan listening to us, and like record stores in like America and stuff selling our album, like it was complete like fairy tale thoughts, we never anticipated it would actually happen. So seeing a crazy response from all around the world and not just like focus on the UK, it's surreal is probably the best way to put it. It doesn't quite sink in. I always still feel like I'm sort of not in the band, and I'm just like it's built on the side. It doesn't feel real at all.
Oh, well, eventually it'll probably sink in. Maybe like 3 albums from now, it'll maybe feel real.
It might stop.
It might start to feel a little bit real. And so looking forward and into 2022, what are you most looking forward to this year?
Playing. Just
playing.
Not even specifics, just playing to everywhere. Like I said, we didn't play a show for like a year and a half. Then we done Bloodstock, but if anything, that made it worse, because then it was just like a little taster for it, and we remembered how much like we enjoyed playing live. There's literally like taking a bite, and then like food gets taken away from you, and you're even more hungry than you were before. So we want to try and make up for all the shows we couldn't play since COVID and shit. So yeah, just anything.
Getting out on there. That's awesome though, because I know people are hungry for shows, and I mean, if the energy in your videos is anything like your live set, I'm sure people have an absolute blast. Like, what was your favorite thing that happened while you were at Bloodstock?
The last song we done, a single release called Fake, and that's just got some stupid breakdown at the end. And we made it even more stupid by putting like a 10-second pause before the last. And we thought, we'll ask for it anyway. We asked for a wall of death just to see what reaction we'd get, and literally the entire tent just split down the middle. And I felt a little bit like, this make me sound really egotistical. What's that geezer from the Bible that like splits the water? Is it Moses?
It's Moses, yes.
Yeah. I'm not comparing myself to a biblical figure here. Please don't take that the wrong way. But it was just a crazy feeling for our music to literally split a tent down the middle. So that was probably the highlight for me. Yeah. And the reaction we got was really nice.
That is amazing. That would have been fun to be in. Did anyone lose their shoes while in your wall of death? Because that's always like the hallmark of a perfect wall of death, is somebody getting knocked out of their shoes.
But I hope so. I should have watched the crowd for a few seconds after to see how many people were looking around on the floor with one shoe on.
That's always and then you just see those people holding them up in the air trying to find the shoes. And so continuing to look forward, I know that you guys worked on this album for a while. I mean, starting back in 2017, and like you said, some songs were 2 years apart. Do you have something new in the works that you might be able to hint at a little bit? Maybe, potentially?
I'm pretty sure I'm allowed to say we are writing album 2 currently.
Yes.
Which is an absolute like. Yeah. The annoying thing is I started before we'd even released the first album or any singles from it. This was like the heat of first lockdown. So you got pissed all out. So I just started writing, even though literally that's the one time I didn't need to write anything. You know, we were just about to drop an album. And now the time's come around that I need to actually do writing. I literally just hate it so. Like, it's weird. I love making music, but I hate it at the same time. Some days I absolutely love it, and I'm rearing to go. And then some days I'll sit down to try and write something, and yeah, I'm on Instagram like 5 minutes later, not really knowing what I'm doing. But I guess it's part of the process, isn't it?
It is part of the process. It's a struggle sometimes to be creative, and then at the most inopportune times, you'll get an idea and just run with it.
I always say my what I think are my best riffs always come to me at like 3 a.m. when I'm trying to sleep. And I've got to end up having to jump out of bed, find this riff on guitar, record it into my phone really badly. And then them times where I want to sit down and I've got time I've put aside for writing, nothing at all.
Nothing wants to come out. Oh, that's the struggle is real on that one for sure. And so you guys are doing, Pulse Fest this week. And how do you feel like the future of these live streamed events will go now that things are opening up? Do you think that they're still valuable for reaching a whole lot of fans in a whole bunch of parts of the world that you can't do like on a regular tour?
I think there's always going to be a place for them. So there's nothing's going to beat actually being in the room, like the whole atmosphere and everything. But it's sort of the closest thing you can get if we're not touring in your country or town or whatever, and you can't come to a show. It's good for people to have some sort of taste of what we can offer live. And we've not played outside the UK since 2019. And I'd say a fair chunk of our fans are from outside of the UK. So it's nice to give them a little teaser of what we can offer live. We might play a show in the hometown.
And so I know that there are some bands that like to be, in the live chat during their stream. Do you guys plan to do that with this one?
Probably not. Probably not. The only reason being, we've put a lot of thought into our set and how it flows. So we really want to break the flow of it. Really. Seems, but it all the tracks we've selected, we've tried to get it to a point where they all can sort of blend in together and sort of be like one whole thing, as opposed to, all right, here's a few tracks we're going to play. But on this occasion, yeah, probably not.
Okay, no, that makes sense.
If you want to see that, then next, 100%, give us your questions.
Yeah, no, I'm sure fans do love it, but it totally does make sense that you also don't want the distraction going on during the set. It does offer an interesting dynamic when the chat's going on and the set's going on that's just unique to live streams and not to actual live shows. It's a very weird dynamic, but cool at the same time sometimes. Let's see here, looking at all my questions here. And so you guys have the tour coming with In Flames. Is there any chance that this year you may cross the ocean and head over this way?
Hopefully. Hopefully. That's like my bucket list.
Yeah.
It's going to be like realistic. I would probably will happen in 2023. But if we got the opportunity, we would get on a plane tomorrow and come play show on. Yeah, for sure. It's the on our list.
Well, I'll just say this: don't skip Oregon. Just as a personal note, don't skip me over here in Oregon.
We'll do every show we can.
Okay. Just come play in my front yard. It'll be fine. My neighbors won't mind. It'll be totally fine.
That's literally enough reason we need to get on a plane and come play. That's literally the piece we need is like, yeah, we got a show over there. So.
Oh, well, if I could get the permits, I would totally arrange it.
Perfect.
All right. Well, I have just one more question for you. And it's a question I like to ask everybody. And I always say it's the most important question of the interview, the one that separates the boys from the men.
Right.
What is your favorite dinosaur?
Oh, what's that one that's like Spinosaurus? You know,
the one with the fin?
Yeah, it's like a T-Rex or like that weird little fin thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's got like a bigger. It's actually bigger than a T-Rex.
Mm-hmm.
I just feel like going off like the size and the whole like scaly shit it's got going on, I feel like it would be able to beat a T-Rex in a fight. And that's why I would probably favoritize it.
And that one's really cool because it can be both on land and in the water, because that one was capable of swimming and running, and it actually had working arms, unlike the T-Rex with its tiny little ones.
The spin from a punch. That's what the T-Rex can't. And you're not safe from it unless you can fly.
And even then, you got to be flying up above it. You can't just try to take off because it'll snatch you out the air or something, I'm sure.
If dinosaurs ever somehow managed to come back into modern day life and I saw us, I would probably admit defeat and just cower.
Well,
fine. Just if I see a Spinosaurus, I'm not doing it.
See, me and my dumbass, I would probably try to like tame it, get one in like an egg and raise it to be my dinosaur. But that's like, I know I'm going to die trying to pet something I shouldn't at some point in my life.
But that's, put me in a good mood and I'll probably just try and pet it.
Yeah, exactly.
An offering of food or something, like kill your neighbor, offer your neighbor's body up to it, and then it knows handle it because you're feeding it.
Exactly. That's the like, here's a goat, don't eat me.
My next door neighbor didn't just hear me offering them up to a Spinosaurus.
Faithfully, my neighbors are a little farther away, so they didn't hear me planning their demise via dinosaur either.
You're like,
oh, well, that was all the questions that I had for you. Is there anything else you want to shout out? Anything you want to plug the fans to go check out? Anything? Any last words?
you haven't already got tickets, come see us live with In Flames, will be main support. If you live outside the UK, sorry, we're only doing UK shows.
Rude.
Yeah, watch our live set.
Yeah, definitely. Everybody make sure to stick around on Pulse Fest 3x22 this Friday. Check out Vexed. Their set's going to be awesome. And on that, I will see you on the flip side.
Perfect. Cheers for having me.